These are my reading glasses.
Oh no, she's got her reader glasses on, so she's got to change glasses. Melanie wasn't quite prepared yet, but
It's okay.
welcome to episode 20 of Keeping It Magical with Kevin and Melanie.
Yes.
That's Melanie, I'm Kevin. And we thought we'd come on with a special late night edition of Keeping It Magical on this beautiful Friday night.
Amazing
Friday night. And we're going to take it back a little bit. Go back to our childhoods a little bit and kind of discuss how we kind of always really knew that there was something more out there. As a young kid, I was just Wanderlove's boy, and I had seen my mom and dad, growing up and watching them in this amazing love story. And I used to sit at the bottom of the street and sing songs, and I'd go to the woods, and I'd just sit on a swing out there in the woods that we had, and I'd just sit there and swing, just think, man, she's going to come walking out of the woods one day or something, I'm going to meet this amazing, and we're just going to have this amazing life together. And I always dreamed about that. That one day I'd just meet this woman who would just look at me like she does. And, so I dreamt about it, and I wrote about it later, when I started going into service and stuff. And I was always a stargazer. I was always a dreamer. It was funny because I asked her tonight, I go, what's one of the first constellations you ever noticed in the sky? And she goes, oh, it was the Orion's Belt and Big and Little Dipper. I'm like, it's just things like that we dreamt about and thought about when we were, both younger in our childhood. And she grew up as writing about stuff, and I grew up writing about stuff, and so we started talking a lot about our childhood today.
Right.
And then we get into the spiritual realm of this, what's happened between us. Mm-hmm. And I asked you today, or I kind of looked up, the day you were born. And I could just see myself back then when I was 14 years old saying a prayer that day, bring this woman into my life, bring this woman to life for me. And I could just imagine that day I got an overwhelming feeling that God had put you on the face of the earth for me. And, my whole life it just felt like, God, she's out here. And then we used to come down on vacations to Florida. And every time I was in Florida, I'd walk the beaches and I'd be looking. I'd be, well, where is she? Where is she?
My entire life.
I'd be looking for her. I'd be going, God, I know she's walked this same beach. I know she's touched these same waters.
Yeah.
And I'd lay out there in the ocean. I'd be like, I know she's just gonna come swimming up like a mermaid one day or something. And I just...
The first day we met at the beach, I swam, and I was like, look, I was swimming.
Right.
I'm like, look, I'm like a mermaid.
But it really was that kind of adventure for me. And, so I wanted you to talk about how it was for you, too, because it really was, I think, it was just us constantly, throughout our whole lives, just calling out those silent whispers in the night of our dreams. But
so when I was growing up, I grew up on a cattle ranch, and so I was always running around out in the woods and climbing trees and just riding horses, and there was always land and there were no lights, so I always laid outside at night and watched the meteor showers and learned all the constellations, and it coincides right with you being in the Navy, out on a ship, looking up at all the stars. And
oh man, they turn off the lights at night, and I'd lay out under the stars and just go, I know you're author, just know you're author.
And I would always think, man, stars are cool because anybody anywhere could be looking at them. And what if me and some person out there is looking at the same one at the same time?
I wonder if she's dreaming of me like I'm dreaming of her. And it was, we were. It's so ironic because when we came together and we started talking, it was like, God, we've been calling out for each other for so long. Mm-hmm. And, when I moved to I spent 2 years in Winter Haven writing about her, writing about this, something that I never even experienced in my life, something that I didn't even know about, but I knew about. The knowing of the unknowing, the just the yearning that God, I had felt this love.
I always had these repetitive thoughts.
Right.
Does everybody feel this way?
Well, if you believe
or
in
is
it,
everybody? Are people okay with things being like this? Like,
well, I think if you really do believe in eternity, if you really do believe in life after death, or reincarnation, which is things that religion even talks about, you got to understand that the only thing that you ever can take from life is the love that you've acquired, the love that you've given, the love that you've received in. And that's why I think we both feel like we've spent lifetimes together. We've spent lifetimes searching for each other. Every lifetime we've found each other, or we've tried to find each other, because we just knew that we were meant to spend eternity together. And that's such the beauty of this. We both recognize this lifetime, at least, maybe, that we belong together forever, or eternity. And people can criticize us or criticize this journey all they want, or say that we're out of our minds or whatever. But
then I'll be out of my mind.
I will be out of my mind for you every day.
Absolutely.
And they can go ahead and say, oh, they're in the honeymoon stage and they're just puppy love or whatever they want.
It's so much different than that.
It really is a effortless, just outpouring love for each other. It's this desire that, gosh, I waited all this time for you, and now that I found you, I'll be damned if I'm going to let you think for 1 second that I don't want you in my life. I want you here forever, for every breath, for every second, for every memory, for every moment that we can create. Absolutely. And it's this, when you look at your relationship like that, it's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that's something to build on. When you start getting into a relationship and you're contemplating if you even want to be there or not, you got to wonder to yourself, are you really serving your soul the best purpose? And we had to learn a lot of hard lessons along the way. We had to travel down a lot of broken roads to find each other.
We sure did.
And but I think.
But I was picking up pieces. I was hunting you down.
Right.
It's like I was being a detective, and I found little bits of you here and little bits of you there, and I was picking up some things from this person that were like you, right, and things in this person that were like you.
Exactly.
And things in this person that were like you.
We talked about the similarities in the people that we met, and the things that we liked about the people we met along the way, and how they really were. They were just the building blocks of everything that we knew that we wanted in our lives. Everything that we knew that would just make our souls just sing like never before. And no one
ever came close.
But it came with a lot of heartaches. It came with a lot of loneliness. It came with a lot of faith. It really was a true faith and belief. And I think that why we wanted to talk about this was because yesterday we dug into back where the day I died, and on July 6th, and it was a very, how do I say this, life-changing event for me. For one thing, but I think at the very exact moment in time, it was a very life-changing moment for you too. It was that last grasp of desperation. I think we both had that. This was the moment in time where we had to find each other. The loneliness was just too much for both of us, and I think God actually had just taken me and said, hold on a second. You're grasping, you're looking for everything. I'm going to provide this woman for you. I'm going to answer your prayers. But I've got to make sure you're healthy enough, or I gotta make sure that you can handle this beautiful young 45-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old bundle of amazing joy that was about to enter my life. I've got to make you strong enough for this. And he gave me a brand new heart on July 7th, but on July 6th, when I died, You know, I heard this constant voice in my ear saying it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. I just kept on hearing it's going to be okay, and I thought for a long time that it might have been my son, and I'm sure maybe it was, and it might have been this one here saying, "Please don't leave me. I know you're out there." And
I remember that night very clearly. I didn't sleep at all that night.
yep.
The first time you told me the date, it stood out in my mind immediately.
I remember you said, "God, I got chills."
Yeah,
And
because that day had just been a day where things had happened, and I was just, throughout the day, I just was at a point where I had just like, I'm just over it. I'm done. I'm tired of being alone. I was, I had been happy and everything, but this day, it was just that things that happened that earlier that day and then the day before, like, I was heartbroken and just done with it all.
I remember that. I remember that day because I'd actually made a cardiologist appointment because my heart was hurting, my chest was hurting. I wanted to live. I wanted to keep on looking for this love that I had searched so hard to find for the last 3 years. Actually, my whole life, but especially the last 3 years, I wrote out everything about it. I was just trying to draw her in, and that day I wanted to stay alive. But that night, I think I knew I had to die to come back to live.
And as the day went on, like, I started getting out of my place of that sorrow and that crying out, and I started praying, and I found this peace about that part, and then there was this urgency to pray for this person, for this man that I know is meant to be for me. That's out there, but he really needs me right now, and I don't need to be focused on myself. And I literally spent hours in my bedroom that night praying for this man that I was meant to be with.
And I remember,
because there was such a sense of urgency on me to do that.
Right, and I remember when I did. They revived me and they brought me back to life. The very first thing I told that doctor and those nurses was, "Thank you so much for saving my life." I said, "One of these days I'm going to walk back in this hospital with the love of my life. You saved my life so I could find the love of my life." And they looked at me and they go, we wish you the best." And I said, "You watch, it's going to happen. You just saved my life so I could fulfill my dreams." And I even wrote the doctor a poem about it. I was like, "You don't realize the life you just saved. You don't realize the chance you just gave me to fulfill my dreams, for everything that I've ever dreamed about my whole life. You just gave me the opportunity to go get that." And it really was magical. I mean, absolutely magical. 5 months that led up to us meeting. At the very beginning of November, I was writing poems like, it's going to happen any second. It's going to happen any minute, any day, any breath I take. She's right here. She's right that close. I'm telling you, it is going to happen. And bam. It was just like clockwork. Divinely meant to be.
And meanwhile, everything in my life, for reasons I can't even explain, because so many things were going so right in my life, but everything was almost kind of unraveling at the same time.
It seemed like everything that wasn't meant for you was unraveling, but everything that was meant for you was coming together.
Yes.
And which seems kind of crazy because some of the things that were unraveling was some of the things that she had been working for, but wasn't really good for your soul.
Right.
And I think that's what what had to come down to was both of us being good with our souls and knowing that when we met, we weren't going to try to cage each other. We were going to try to set each other free, just let each other run like crazy. The beautiful thing about this was we just love running together. We don't want to run separate. You don't want to go your own way. I don't want to go mine. We want to grab a hold of you and say, "Come on, baby, let's go running together. Let's take this," and we cheer each other on and we help each other out. I went over one of her poems. I was like, hey, maybe if you looked at this and or worded it this way, and whether you want to change it or not, I think it would just wow it. And she's done the same with my work, and I'm like, we just want the best for not only each other but for us and for that little girl. And it's just been I've had some emotional moments here lately. Haven't I? I broke down like a complete baby, but these are so much
and this
more
is just
different
like
tears.
this is just bare minimum
Right.
of the things that we could tell you.
Right.
This is like maybe 1 out of like 20.
Right.
Like
it's just been one after another. The synchronicities and
the parallels,
the signs and the parallels and but what I think we both are even getting even a greater grasp of is
this
how
was very divinely orchestrated.
is how divinely orchestrated this really was. That this was from the minute she took her first breath on earth. I believe now, and I really did believe all my life, that I knew God had to just put this angel on earth for me. And it was my job to somehow, looking through 8 billion people's faces, that one day I look into the eyes of the other half of my soul. And you really are the other half of my soul.
Absolutely.
And there's not one doubt in my mind, not one question, not one, nothing ever. From the minute we met, from the minute we embraced, from the minute we actually said hello.
From the first time I had messaged you.
It was just magical. And I hope people enjoy our journey, and I hope by telling our story, it does. It resonates with people. It resounds with people, because I do believe that everybody has got that one person out there that they just been calling for all their lives. And whether you're lucky or enough or blessed enough to find that person, don't ever stop believing that there's
right.
someone out there that can just love you so.
And don't be afraid to look crazy and just go for it, and just with reckless abandon believe in something that sounds
but by
like
the same
it's
token,
impossible.
you trust that intuition,
right,
because there's one thing about being reckless and abandoned and taking chances and risks and stuff like that, but don't let your mind play any tricks with you. Follow your heart.
Right.
I wrote a poem tonight about following your heart. She's written tons of poems about following your heart and following your just that gut feeling that is right. But we wanted to come on and we wanted to talk about our journey tonight. We got kind of a
Sorry, my daughter's yelling. There's a spider and she's freaking out.
We got an emergency. We got a spider now, so we got to go. And anyway, we thought we'd come on and share a little bit about our past and our journey. But have a great Friday night from our house to yours. Hold on, Melanie's coming back.
Fine.
Oh, she's coming back. But
she was just being a drama queen.
Okay, no drama queens. We don't
for real.
We don't allow drama queens.
Well, I didn't think we did, but she straight up just
Anyway, it has been fun, and Cammie and I are just we really have formed an amazing bond. And Cammie she reminds me so much of my son Colby.
Yeah.
And
Cammie was born how many?
Actually, Colby died 3 months after Cammie was born, and I do believe that in some roundabout way that he's one of her imaginary friends. And
right after she met you, she got you a baseball out of a train machine and gave it to you because she said this reminded her of your son.
Right. I think she had seen a picture of my son with the baseball, and it really has been a magical connection. We pray that other people find this, but it is truly about following your heart and listening to those silent echoes that just call out. And sometimes you just can't explain why you do things, but I know one thing. This needs no explanation. It truly is beautiful. Just
Absolutely.
beautifully unknown. I'm not sure where we're going, but I know one thing. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nobody I'd rather do it with.
For sure.
But we love you guys. Have a great weekend. Have an amazing Friday night. And again, we appreciate so much you guys following our page, liking our Facebook page. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. Our channel is slowly picking up steam, but it is picking up steam. And we actually got some people to share our YouTube channel around. And, we ask you to subscribe to that. And there are some pretty emotional videos at the very beginning of this when we first met, about this guy just telling you about I found her. I got her. I hunted her down. I acted like caveman, went in there and grabbed her and threw her on my shoulder and said, "You're coming with me, baby."
Oh no!
It really wasn't. It really wasn't a choice. It was destiny.
Absolutely.
And we both are just ecstatic about destiny, because we've been praying for that, I think, all our lives.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So we love you guys. We hope you enjoy our journey and enjoy our story. And again, we're just humbled by the outpouring and the responses to and the well wishes for our journey. And we hope you enjoy watching Keep It Magical.